recent years, healthcare has become an integral part of the business ecosystem in India. While healthcare itself is a very noble profession and majorly contributes to the humanity, the successful healthcare entrepreneurs are making a valuable contribution to the national economies around the world. Their stories as influential role models on groundbreaking journey are inspiring to so many young aspirants. Hi, this is Smita Kumar and you're watching MediCircle. We are featuring all the top leaders of the healthcare ecosystem for the exclusive video interview series on MediCircle. In this special initiative, we would be speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs who are like the movers and shakers and also the change makers of the healthcare industry. Like many have good startups, some are into innovation, some are into tech, and but every entrepreneur is contributing in his or her own way. Today in this initiative, we are speaking to Surjeet Thakur. Surjeet Thakur is the co-founder and CEO of TrioTree Technologies. TrioTree is a HIS company which has its so many clients in India also and also around the globe. Surjeet specializes in a lot of domains like healthcare IT, healthcare consulting, hospital information systems, project management, and implementation. He has vast experience as he has been mentoring his team for a long time and has given very exceptional, successful results. So, hi, Surjeet. Welcome to MediCircle.
Hi, Smita. Thank you for having me.
So, Surjeet, how has the journey been? Because you have been there in this industry. So, like beginning with this industry itself, so as there is no standardization in this healthcare industry, like you are dealing with HIS products, and so your clients would be like hospitals. Like every hospital might be a completely new client to you. So, how do you deal with this standardization of absence of standardization in healthcare?
Yeah, so I mean the challenge of non-standardization is there. So I have been in healthcare for now almost for 22 odd years. So I've seen the healthcare IT grow. I joined healthcare IT at a time when people used to wonder, what is there in for computers in a doctor's chamber? Thankfully, we were trying to build a solution when we started off this. Our focus was more on EHR and EMR, because HIS is one thing which is actually a bread and butter. So operations, registration, billing, that is sort of a thing which is expected that the solution would do. So we focused it from the angle that the clinicians or any care provider, they should be able to use the system because they are the source. Patient ultimately goes to them. Hospital is in a business of taking care of health of the patient. One of the things, if you look at how healthcare has evolved, it evolved from patient care to quality of care, and now the focus has moved to patient experience. And there is actually effort to improve the quality of care, but that is actually particularly being challenged by the lack of reliable data on quality, and of course by the technical difficulty in measuring the quality. So as the saying goes, that if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So there's ongoing effort in the public and as well as private to actually improve the quality of data capture, develop better measures and understanding of the quality of care, and develop innovative solutions for long-standing challenges. When there is no standardization, each hospital thinks that the processes that they're trying to adopt, that is what is actually because there's no KPI to measure.
Yes.
The standards of JCIA, standards of NABH, fortunately or unfortunately, what they actually sort of standardize is not the processes, but sort of data capture that needs to be done. For example, when we talk about initial assessment, whether it's nursing or clinical, there is absolutely no standardization. This is the data set. Though Government of India has come up with a guideline for metadata standards, MDDS standards and EHR standards, but it's still to be adopted. So yes, non-standardization actually creates a bottleneck in creating a solution which is sort of uniform. And when you don't know how you are doing as compared to others, because again there is no standardization. Government again has bought the license of SNOMED for all healthcare providers, and all hospitals, clinics actually can subscribe to that and use that. Unfortunately, it has not gone to the acceptance of that usage, but things are changing. I mean, COVID taught us that that you have to go for those standards.
My second question is just on that, Surjeet, like, because you have been seeing from the times, like, why this computer is there in the doctor's chamber. So from times, like, what changes, especially you're witnessing in the behavior of these healthcare organizations, especially hospitals, because we have faced a lot of infra deficit post-COVID, especially during the second wave. So what is the change of behavior in these organizations towards acceptance of healthcare IT pre and post-COVID?
Okay, so I mean, the way I look at it is, so COVID, everyone knows it has been an unprecedented global crisis, and all the health systems, whether it is the hospitals or clinics or individual practitioners, all labs. So during COVID times, even diagnostic centers were unable to give simple RT-PCR reports. I mean, the TAT was more than 72 hours at times. So it has put a tremendous pressure on the entire healthcare system.
Yes.
Now, if you can look at it, what we have learned from it, that we need to improve the resilience. We have to improve the accessibility and the effectability, and of course the sustainability. So if you look at the challenges, it is that we have to enhance the healthcare system capacity, because all these challenges of oxygen not being there, beds not being available, we will have to increase the infrastructure. Second is access to healthcare. People and with the economy of scale that India has, we as a country have, the access to healthcare has to be remote, and that's the reason you see telemedicine flourishing during the COVID times.
Yes.
Plus the technology innovation. Now, effectively, what we have done in COVID is that telemedicine was there since last 25, 30 years, but it unfortunately needed a global crisis, a pandemic like COVID to come as a savior. Now, we have seen doctors, they were slightly reluctant to use the system. And it has also to do with the behavior of the patient. We'll talk about that later. But yes, there was some resistance in the clinical fraternity to use the system, because they thought that maybe if once I start using the system, I might not be able to give the same sort of attention to my patients, and my consultation time would increase. But COVID changed that. I mean, now we had the same doctors who would want to use a telemedicine platform to actually deliver care. So it has been a paradigm shift pre and post COVID for sure. Now the challenge is to look at whether there is a sustenance in that zeal by the clinical fraternity to use the system or not. Organization as such has evolved. Now they would want to, and post the phase 1 and pre phase 2, we could see that there was few healthcare facilities who wanted to adopt technology because their doctors have also evolved. But post phase 2, there are significant and large number of healthcare facilities who are coming and want to use EMR. Let's forget the HIS. They also wanted to use the EMR because they understand that data is the key. Once they have the data in the system, then they would be able to give patient care. With phase 3 looming there, you don't know what will happen. People are unprepared. Technology is the only savior.
Sure.
But at the same time, what I think and I'm saying this with the experience of in the healthcare IT for a slightly longish time, that the newer generation of doctors, that has also helped to do the change management. They also want to use the system now. And third is the patient behavior. I mean, patient expectation that I have to physically meet the doctor because till the time he doesn't actually touches my palm, I don't get a feel that I'm being cared. That patient behavior has also changed. So if you look at the entire patient ecosystem of delivery of care, it's the management. They're also evolved that, yes, we'll invest in IT and the infrastructure. The clinicians who are the caregivers, they have also evolved. And of course, the patients. So yes, there has been a paradigm shift. Time will tell whether it's actually a spur or there'd be sustenance. But to be honest, this is the time to be in healthcare IT.
Definitely, definitely. So coming from healthcare insights to your own company, TrioTree, what are your expansion plans for TrioTree? Because I just see the maps behind. So is it like about the presence of TrioTree? So what is like the next geography we are targeting, or what would be the expansion plans, especially post-COVID?
Yeah, so far we have got clients all across India, in the northern part of India, in the eastern part, in the western part, as well as down south, where we have a lot of clients and premium clients. We have got JCIA and NABH accredited clienteles. And fortunately, at all these, majority of these places, we have sort of made the hospital paper-light hospital, where all the clinicians, all the paramedics, all the care providers, including nurses, dietitians, physiotherapists, everyone is using the system. Plus, we have a patient delight, patient experience mobility app where they can take appointments online. They can consult, do the video consultation to the doctors. Doctors also have a mobile app, so that critical lab alerts can come there while they're on their way to the hospital. In the car itself, they can review so the rounding becomes easy. So, and plus we have got clients in Malaysia, we have got clients in Singapore, in Middle East as well, in Qatar, in Muscat, Oman primarily, and we do a lot of work with NHS UK. Now it's a time to expand in these geographies. We want to have multiple clients in these geographies now, but African market is what we are more focused on, and I mean expanding into Indonesia and having more clients with Singapore. We have the challenge as of now is for travel. So we are approaching it as a partnership approach, where we are having local partners there with whom we are coordinating. We are doing remote trainings for them. We are doing remote demos, because this is an era of partnership. You can't be doing everything of your own. So that's what we are. And like I said, this is exciting time to be in healthcare IT. Yes. So we have a great plans of expansion now.
That's great to hear. Surjeet, coming to one very important question: while some companies are funded in healthcare IT and some are not, so how does the competition becomes difficult for those who are funded and those who are not funded? Tell us about TrioTree, and also tell us about, sorry to interrupt you, tell us about also TrioTree. Are you also into funding? Are you planning to raise some investments?
Okay, so I mean, just 2 minutes background about the founders here. So we have worked in hospitals. So I come from a technology background. I did my MBA, but in spite of doing that, I joined the hospital. So for umpteen years, I've worked in hospital IT team, doing the system implementation from the hospital side in India. Then I went abroad, again worked in the first JCA hospital outside US, and then joined the software side, the other side. So I understand the pain that the hospital goes through. And same is true for my other co-founders also. They also have worked in hospitals. So in the ecosystem, they worked on either side. Yes. The challenge. So we started this because we thought that let's try to have an Indianized version of EHR, US-based product. There are a few standards there. The meaningful use, which was earlier there, the Obamacare and CCHCIT standards, the HIPAA compliance. These are all for US. Yes. In India, there was nothing that sort, and that's when we started in a stealth mode in 2011, and we were bootstrapped, though we took some funding from friends and families, but we have not gone for any external VC funding or a PE funding. And then the reason was I mean, this was a very conscious decision that we took, that we would want to first. So there are two ways of actually to acquire a customer, either who pays for that customer acquisition? Either the customer pays for it, so more number of clients that you have, you'll have word of mouth and you'll get more clients, or it is the investment that will actually give you that thing that you can acquire customers with the money power. Both has got its own pros and cons. Everything comes with its advantage, disadvantage. So if I look at it, I'll say that let's look at this from a short-term and long-term perspective. From a short-term perspective, of course, investment actually helps you with a jump start. But ultimately, what happens is all about acquiring customers. And if you have an idea, if you have a product which actually solves a problem and not an imaginary problem, you grow. So to answer your question, yes, the investment has few benefits in short term, but in long term, what actually matters is whether your product fits into the market or not. And funding, what at times might do is that external funding, the VC funding, might make you very focused on client acquisition, and you might get slightly derailed from your product focus. So creating the right balance is the key.
Surely.
As of now, we are not looking for any funding, but yes, that is a plan. March 2021 is when we think that we'll have a decent base where we would want to have. So as of now, as we speak, we have almost 75 plus clients. We think, and these are large independent hospitals. So even if a chain of hospital, we are considering that as a single client. So we think that March 2021, 2022, we'll have more clients, and then maybe we'll go for the next round of funding. Yes.
That's great. So last question, very quick one, like what are the key ingredients of how did you make TrioTree Technologies a successful healthcare IT company? Because again, there are so many healthcare IT companies, and from the last 5-6 years, even I have seen so many HIS companies mushrooming, and there is like a complete demand supply imbalance here, because there are many HIS providers. So, but still TrioTree makes a stand apart from all these HIS providers. So what are your key ingredients towards its success?
Yeah. So to be honest, you use the right word, mushrooming. So and unfortunately, in the HIS world, it's highly localized and unorganized. So there would be a small company in a small town in UP which would cater to all hospitals in 2 or 3 towns around, and it will not have any expansion plan. Same thing is if you go to Kerala. So, and we have seen that a small company with 15 people are saying we have a HIS, and what the challenge is that that's a harsh reality. You have to compete with them also, and when your costs are low, of course you can offer at any price. But now I think the client, primarily the healthcare facilities, they have become more mature. They have understood that there is a cost and then there is a value. So now the focus has moved from cost to value. One of the things which I personally think, and maybe people outsiders like you can judge how good, bad, ugly we have done, but from a company perspective, because we came from the other side, from the hospital, we understood the pain slightly better than our contemporaries. And secondly, one of the ethos that we have made in the company, that anyone, whether it is someone in accounts, whether it's someone in HR, whether it's someone in development, they need to understand or someone in support, they need to understand the hospital process. So as part of our induction, what we do is anyone who joins the organization, they undergo 5 days of mandatory healthcare training, not the product training or the development training. Because if you are in this industry, you need to first understand what the real challenges are and what we operate. A support guy might receive a call at 6 o'clock saying that my discharge summary is not getting printed, which is a small problem, and please solve this for me. The hospital might call. That we expect our support guys to understand the intricacies and the challenges in that. and what is the impact. So I think our biggest customers are our best sales representatives. So if you're able to actually serve them well, so majority of our client acquisition actually happens through word of mouth. So I think the focus is not only about selling a product; it's about selling a solution, and then of course the post sales support. Are 100% client satisfied? Probably not. I mean, I'll be brutally honest here, and we're not here to sort of make everyone happy all the time. But at least if you're able to understand the problems and give a solution to those problems, we think that clients are mature enough to stay with us. So that is the organizational ethos that we have, and hopefully we have done slightly better than others in that terms.
So that's a very, very kind, modest, and honest reply, Surjeet. And also somebody from who's really experienced, has seen a lot of changes in the healthcare industry, especially the ecosystem changing from no PCs to mobiles and tabs being used in hospitals, and doctors using mobiles and tabs on the rounds also. So just a quick last message from you for all these entrepreneurs and young generation people who strive to become an entrepreneur, especially in the healthcare domain. What message would you like to give to them?
So what I'll say is healthcare IT is the industry that you should be here for the next 5 to 10 years, because this will only grow, and it will grow in leaps and bounds. For the new entrepreneurs, what I'd say is to start a business and to bring it to, for any successful fruition, let's understand success is always relative. It's not only about how much revenues, it's not about how good product, it could be about how much clients, it could be about geographies, but it takes a sound mix of confidence, risk tolerance, self-discipline, determination, and competitiveness. You have an idea, you have a talent of doing it, you might have the professionalism to do it, but to build a worthwhile business, what you require dedication, ethics, and single-mindedness. You have to be mad, and you have to love your idea first. If you can't believe in your idea, how do you expect others to join you and to agree and building that idea into a product and then client acquisition? So first, do that sort of self-ratification of that idea, believe in it, and then go for it. There's no wrong or right answer. That's the best part of being an entrepreneur, and success will be yours.
True. So that's some very cool advice from Surjeet Thakur, CEO and founder of TrioTree. Thank you, Surjeet, for joining us at MediCircle in the Top Leaders in Healthcare Awareness series. And I think you will be definitely inspiring many achievers who are watching this show. Thank you for joining us. Thanks once again.
Thanks so much, Gita, for having me. Thank you very much.